What does that mean? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
I think we are now live on both of our channels.
yeah.
This
Nice. Hey, guys.
I'm Joe from Cajoling Technologies, and that's Quindor from Intermittent Technologies. We both like the word technologies in our title, I guess.
Yep, that's it.
And Quindor flew here all the way from the Netherlands to the United States. No, just kidding. Modern technology has allowed us to set this up.
Yeah, see, I can poke him now.
Oh, wrong side.
So yeah, yeah. Well, this is new for me. I bought a green screen a few weeks back, and this is the first time I'm actually using it. And I thought we kind of thought like, hey, let's hang out and let's have both our channels join, and well, both our audiences can learn, get to learn the other channel, get to know, and let's just chat a little bit. So if you guys have any topics or questions or stuff like that, just hit us up in the chat.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I
yeah,
posted Quindor's channel in my chat as well. So if you want to check out his channel, if you have a question for him, you can feel free to pop over there and put it in his channel, and vice versa for mine. So yeah, no, this is exciting. We could talk through kind of how we set this up. It was yeah,
yeah, I think that'd be a nice first topic.
sure. So so basically, we are both using OBS on our individual countries, and then we're also using Skype with it's the version that uses Skype NDI. So Quindor has a green screen and lighting set up, and then he uses a virtual webcam version of OBS,
Yeah,
right?
I'm actually using the new release candidate because it used to be so that the virtual webcam was a plugin, but with OBS 26 release candidate 1, they have it built into OBS itself. So I'm using that release candidate to make a virtual webcam, which then goes into a Skype call to
Yes.
Joe.
And let me ask you something. The How do you is there like a button under tools to output as a webcam?
That used to be the old way. Now in OBS, like you had the start stream and start recording, there is now a start virtual
Oh,
camera.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. So for those who don't really know what the heck we're talking about, you could use this with your WebEx or Zoom or whatever, and do a green screen. And OBS is free; it's open broadcaster software. Um, so yeah, so then we're using Skype, and Quindor sends me that feed, both audio and video, from his studio. Take that in, mix it in OBS here, use a chroma key so that I can strategically place Quindor on top of my frame so it looks like he's sitting next to me. Whoops, this side. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's nice.
yeah. And then the output from my OBS goes to an RTMP server, which is in AWS, and that then breaks out to the YouTube servers with two different stream keys, Quindor's stream key and my stream key, and that's how it's live on both channels.
They're saying your guest's volume is way too
Oh,
quiet. Who is the guest in this case? Is it me or Joe?
it's probably me.
Okay.
Let me raise my let me raise check.
Good.
I will quickly do that. And by the way, while I do that, hello Jay Shell on my channel. Jay's actually in broadcast. He was my first guest on this channel, where we worked out a few of these
I
books.
think I
Yep.
caught that one.
And yeah,
Okay, well, we adjusted the volumes a little bit. Let us know if it's better.
I'm actually going to give myself a little more check gain as well. So that should be a lot better.
Well, let me listen to the YouTube feed.
I guess it would be helpful if I keep talking if you're listening to the YouTube. If you listen to dead air.
Think we're okay in volume
All right,
wise.
cool. Awesome. So anyway, that's how we're doing it. It's it's pretty cool. Anything you wanted to say about the setup, Quindor?
No, it was just a fun idea we had a while back, and I was meaning to buy a green screen at some point, and this kind of like pushed it through. It's like, yeah, okay, let's get one. And I just thought it would be funny.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is pretty funny. I should like go to the beach or something and bring Quindor everywhere I go. Like,
So, the Digital Life says, how do you manage the two chats on YouTube? Because Joe is basically multiplying the stream. So basically, he has one OBS that sends it to the internet, to AWS, where he has a VM or whatever running. And that has an RTMP server which receives the stream and then sends it to YouTube, well, basically twice. Once to his channel and once to my channel. And well, I guess we're just both hanging out in our chats.
Yep.
We don't have a merged chat this way. So it's not like restream.io or something like that.
Right.
It's more of a custom solution.
Yeah. This one's quite a bit cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. And higher quality, I think, because I don't know, most of what I see from restreams like 720p max. So
yeah, I ended up dropping this to 1080, but still better.
Okay.
Just because
Yeah.
my connection out to the RTMP server when I was going 4K, the RTMP server is not really made for 4K. It kind of chokes.
Okay.
So I figured, well, I'd rather have stable than high res right now.
I'm hearing quality is good from TP modding, so that's good for a first time. I mean,
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, go ahead.
So anyone watching from Joe's side or my side, we didn't really have a topic prepared. We were kind of messing with the technology. Anyone have any questions you'd like to ask Joe or me or about our channel topics or I don't know. I've been trying to get Joe to tinker with MikroTik, although I don't make that much MikroTik videos myself. That was
I have
fun.
a question for you.
Sure.
So how did you? I thought of an alternative channel name could be LED guy for you. So how did you get like what? What
Yep.
is your interest in LEDs? Like where did it start?
Oh, I don't know. I think it started out of irritation, like really originally, because I would buy, the generic crap LED strip from AliExpress, and I was like, "Is this it? Is this the grand revolution of LEDs?" And it's like this light's just utter crap. And then I started learning about them, and it's like, okay. And then around 2015, we decided to build our own house. And I was like, okay, I want all the lights to be controllable using home domotica, and I want everything to be LEDs. And so I started to pour in a lot more research. And the first thing I discovered was, okay, if I'm going to do this with commercially available products like Control 4 or Key, what was it called? Conix? KNX? I don't know. But then I'd be spending like 50,000 euros on just the lighting alone. That wasn't going to happen. And then I was like, okay, well, you have these Philips Hue, but that's mostly bulbs. I don't actually have any bulbs in this whole house. It's all LED fixtures and stuff like that. KNX, yeah. And so, okay, it was like, okay, well, let's see if I can build something myself. And that's kind of how all that started rolling. So after about half a year or a year of development, I got to the Quinn LED OG, which was a two-channel, PWM DC LED dimmer. And after that, well, I just kind of kept on rolling and then improving. And now I actually have four boards, which I actively support and people use. And I gained a lot of knowledge about LEDs, and I want other people to have good LEDs instead of China crap LEDs. So that's kind of why I have intermittent technology and I have QuinnLED.info. And QuinnLED.info it became a pretty big website. I'm actually working on a redesign for it. Um, because there's just a lot of LED information I want to share, and I test a lot of stuff. And I actually bought a spectrometer to see all the visible light spectrum in what the LED is sending out, so I can do my own charts and measurements. And I don't know. If I go in, I go in deep.
Well, we have that in common, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
really cool with the spectrometer. This is like your second career. This is your That's pretty cool.
kind of. Yeah, I have actually started working a little bit less, partially due to Corona and the amount of work we have at work, but also partially because of what the well, not so much YouTube, but YouTube and link to it, the boards and affiliate stuff and stuff like that is bringing in. I can do a little bit less of my day job and a little bit more of this.
Yeah, that's that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions on your side that you wanted to pick through?
Well, what made you start a YouTube channel?
Oh, well, a few reasons, but I would say that the biggest one was I have used YouTube for years to learn skills that I had no idea about. For example, I think I've told this story a couple times where the office that I sit in all day, I wanted
Hmm.
to add a wall and do some things, and I had never picked up a tool basically in my life. And with YouTube, I was able to do it. So
Cool.
I like the platform in the sense that you can anything you're interested in. Like if somebody's interested in LEDs or technology or building a server or whatever, they go to your channel and they can start from zero. So it was kind of more on the education. Like I was like, oh, I'm into this stuff, so I can teach people who are also looking to get into it, and then also the community. I had this thought of like I really like the tech community around all this. Whether it's cloud or home
Hmm.
networking, or it's um, I don't know about you, but like, and a lot of my friends when I start talking about this stuff, like their eyes glaze over. So it's like to get people with the same mindset and get excited about boring to what other people think boring is cool. So that's been like the secondary piece is the community and chatting with people on Discord and met people all over the world. Met obviously you and I'm in the United States, kind of by New York City, and you're in the Netherlands. So, um, so
Yeah, that's as far apart as it gets.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, and it's interesting because you come in. I feel like YouTube is funny too because you come into it with like I'm like I'll get maybe I can get to 1,000 subscribers and it'll just be a fun place to dump some videos, and then all of a sudden you start meeting people and it grows. It's like, oh wow, it's actually like your channel's really done great too. I mean,
Yeah, I've been doing this for 3.5 years now, I think. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, and it started with the house and then with the LED stuff, and then I did more stuff like my server things and my Demotica stuff, and I just like sharing what I do, and I'm often the guy who people come to asking for certain stuff, and this is how I originally started with a blog that if I got a question like 5 times about the same topic, I'd write a blog post about it so that I could just direct people there. And well, that kind of transitioned into videos. And I just like sharing the information and stuff like that and preparing how I share it. Like I'm doing this series about a certain doorbell now, which finally does everything I want it to do. And yeah,
it's awesome. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and you get to tinker with stuff too. So
yeah, well, exactly. I mean, all kinds of stuff that keeps me busy, like IP cameras, and I use those for my home security, but I also use them for events a little bit, and I like tinkering around with them, and yeah, lots of stuff. So, Michael Culpa asks, what are both of your day jobs? So, I guess I can start with that. My day job is in, yeah, what's the best? Oh, basically, I'm a senior storage consultant, and I do a lot around storage. But what I focused on the past few years is mainly backup solutions. So I've been doing Veritas net backup for, I don't know, 15 years more. A very long time. I'm pretty knowledgeable about it. If you have a few petabytes or a few hundred petabytes, I don't know. Oh, a few hundred petabytes I haven't done yet. If you have a few petabytes or less, you want to backup, no problemo. I'll design you, build you, and configure you a backup solution. Uh, Past recent years, I've been doing a lot with Rubrik, Cloudian storage, which is kind of S3 based, stuff like that. And I think that links very well to where you're working at, Joe, isn't it?
Yes. So I'm actually at Amazon Web Services, AWS. So it's the cloud side of Amazon. Formerly, I was in enterprise IT. My focus is really, so I'm a solutions architect for AWS, and my focus is kind of in what's called unified communication. So it's like telephony, telecom, conferencing, things along those lines. So I work a lot with customers and things, but definitely in tech and nerd out. But this stuff on the YouTube channel, more with the home networking, is kind of my my hobby and side thing, and I enjoy it just as much. So
Yeah, well, I guess this kind of relates then to teleconferencing and communication, what we're doing now.
yeah, it absolutely does.
You need to set up a service where you can like all sit in a room or like pretend you're all sitting in a room talking to each other.
Yeah, believe it or not, Cisco did that years ago. I don't think it's doing too
Okay,
great now because nobody's in a room together. But
that's
but
true.
but they had
That's
these they what they call it, telepresence, where you'd have a bunch of executives, like four really nice chairs on one side of the world, and then on the other side of the world, same thing. And you like originally it was ISDN lines, but then it turned into
yeah.
much thicker pipes that you can do. I think almost up to like 4K video between. So, and then they'd have the TVs kind of around the front, so it looked like they'd have like one other executive per TV. So, but they were like I don't know. Originally, I think they were $500,000, and then they went down to like $250,000. But they're still just unbelievably expensive for basically what we can do now virtually. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. With some open source software, capture cards, and a little bit
yeah,
of tinkering.
exactly.
I'm watching the YouTube feed. It's better than I expected actually.
I get that a lot. They look at me and say, "Oh wow, you really cleaned up." No, just kidding. Um,
Well, you really put a lot of work in your studio there. I kind of followed your example by getting the same capture card, for instance.
yeah, that capture card is cool. It's a Blackmagic Decklink Quad. It's called, and you can put four HDMI inputs up to 4K each. So yeah, has it been working well for you?
Yeah, yeah. I have two cameras connected. My top cam and well, this camera, and it's made my Quinn boxed that I do, and I recently did a soldering tutorial. A lot better than I was able to do them before. So yeah,
Awesome.
we keep on improving.
Yeah, it's fun to play with it. A couple of questions came in on this side as well.
Sure.
From Race Toy 101. Hi guys from California. Hello. I have a question. What's the safest way to remote view Blue Iris on a phone? For any other way to remote view it safely on the laptop? Well, there are apps for iOS and Android. So I'd say starting with the app is probably the best, and it makes you put in your key. There's like a special security key Blue Iris gives you, and I believe it's encrypted traffic back to your home server, and you can even list what IPs can connect and what phones can connect and all that in Blue Iris. So
Okay.
that's that piece, and then you can also get to it on the web browser, the UI3 interface, which is their graphical user interface on the web browser, and it's I believe it's encrypted as well, so it should be fairly safe. Say that with a grain of salt these days, right? With all the everything's
Yeah,
safe.
yeah,
So,
that's true. That's true.
do you want to do one from your side?
I'm looking. They're discussing 10 gigabit for some reason. I didn't follow the question if there was one. But Fabian is saying 10 gig is 10 gig. Doesn't matter if it's fiber, DAC or DAC or Cat 6A or whatever cat. That's very correct. 10 gig is 10 gig. Unofficially, if you look at fiber and copper and you look at both the longest lengths, in theory, the laser is just like, I don't know, a nanosecond quicker than a copper cable, but you can only really discover that with lab equipment. So in reality, 10 gig is 10 gig. Doesn't matter what the transport medium is. 10 gig is 10 gig, and there's no real difference between it. So yeah, I don't really know what the rest of the discussion was about, but
Yeah,
yeah.
fiber is a little more fragile too, obviously, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but copper has its downsides too because it uses a lot
Yep.
more power. So
Turn into
yeah.
an antenna.
Well, no, more so
Right,
heat.
right.
That's the reason why 10 gig Ethernet has seen such slow adoption, is because it just uses a lot of heat. So if you like, do I have an SFP module here somewhere? No. If you take those little SFP modules, nowadays you can get those with 10 gig up to 30 meters in copper variants, but you can get them like 80 kilometers for fiber. So that's like 30 meters or 80 kilometers. And then the fiber one still uses less power. And the problem was getting it small enough, the electronics, to produce little, not too much heat to go into that form factor. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like 10 gig. I haven't gone 10 gig yet though, because I don't really have anything that I could benefit from yet from going 10 gigs.
Oh, well, so what I built my server. I think you
Yep.
saw that series. And what I do when I ingest my footage to the server, and then I have ZFS set up in a way that it caches it basically on an NVMe SSD, and I live edit everything over the network. So there's never any footage on my desktop. Um, so it automatically get backed up, and it's on a mirror array, and I don't have to worry about it.
That's pretty cool.
So that really helps with 10 gig.
Yeah, I didn't really. I guess yeah, that would be a really good use case. Not having to carry, because I have these darn SSDs I have to carry around everywhere I go to edit video. So that's a good point.
No, it's all on my server. So yeah.
I just got a little buffering warning from YouTube.
Oh, you mean this yellow thing?
Oh, you got it too? YouTube is not receiving enough video. I did see a blip where I had some drop frames for a minute. Oh, there. It's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, happened again.
If I'm looking at the YouTube stream, I see a lowered frame rate for some reason.
Yeah, it looks like
Is your CPU very busy?
no, but it is dropping frames. Could be the internet connection. It's been the other day. It's not disappearing completely, but it's just the bit rate is dipping a little bit.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll clear up. Yeah, it's I don't know how your internet connections are in the Netherlands, but ours are intermittent tech. Ours are a little.
Well, I'm on cable. I believe you're on cable too. But we have a provider called Ziggo, and as long as you bridge their modems, it's actually pretty good. I rarely have any downtime or other issues. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it used to be better, and then we had this storm come through a couple weeks ago, and things have been like we lost power for 5 minutes in the middle of the night last night. Like everything's been a little off since the storm came through. So, yeah. Oh, we got a bunch of chats coming in here. Apologies if things are a little pixelated or something here and there. While this, I could see it kind of bouncing where it's dipping to like 1 or 2 megs. So, um, let's see. I guess the organization uses. So Peter B says my organization uses AWS, and I've been studying for the architect exam. Have either of you taken it? Have you taken any of the AWS stuff?
I did a AWS course, so I kind of know the basics, but I never did any certification or something like that.
Gotcha. Well, you probably know more than I do without certification. I did take. I have the solutions architect associate and professional certifications, but yeah, it's the certifications are good. And they're not easy to get, but you really the best way is to learn by doing. So, yeah,
Yeah, that's absolutely
yeah,
the case. So a little question on my side. The Chemster asks why Ziggo and not fiber. Where I live, there isn't fiber yet because there was a fiber. They do these projects where they see if they can gather enough people to basically start a fiber project in your community, in your city community. And we had one beginning of end of that last year, beginning of this year, and well, they said they didn't have enough, but they were going to do it anyway. That's probably more commercial blah than real life or than real stuff. But anyway, the project is a go. So I signed up for 1,000 megabit up, 1,000 megabit down for 32.50 a month. We talked about that the other day, and I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, they started at the other side of the municipality, I think I should say. So it's going to take another 1.5, 2 years before they get there. But Ziggo isn't bad. I just like more upload speed because right now I can actually render videos faster than I can upload them. So that kind of sucks.
yeah. I have 1,000 down, but I can only get like 35, 40 up. Um, yeah.
Wow, that's so
Yes.
shit. Why do? Yeah, okay. I was gonna say why do they do that? I kind of know why they do that. Because I kind of know how doxes and we have Euro doxes over here works. Um, Still, there's a lot of artificial limiting and budgeting in there. They could make it better, but they don't really see the incentive generally. Well, Ziggo, I'm leaving whenever I get the chance.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if they got the idea from the fiber company you're talking about over there, because there's a company called Go Net Speed in Connecticut that's doing the same kind of thing, where you can go and if you get enough interest in the neighborhood. So I've been considering kind of either on Facebook or something, sending something out to the whole area and be like, hey, we could get fiber run to our
Yeah,
area with a gig up and a gig down. A couple other towns nearby have done it. But yeah, because that would be very nice.
yeah. I mean, fiber, whatever anyone wants or thinks is going to be the future anyway. And right now, you're probably fine with like 100 or 200 mbits down and like 30, 40 up. But once for 5 years or 10 years into the future, it's going to get more and more important for the things we do. Especially now with Corona, or I shouldn't say that, the human malware. We have to bleep that out. Bleep. Okay.
That's all
So,
right.
yeah. Um, well, people's reliance on the internet to be able to do work or talk to family and stuff like that has only become more important, and a lot of that is surrounded with upload speed, especially like cloud accounts, and like everyone with an Apple phone gets their videos and images and everything backed up automatically. Upload speed's becoming more and more important, and not everyone realizes that. And at some point, the current upload speeds will become the limiting factor in what I see as technological growth, basically, and services that can be delivered. So I really like this transition to fiber, basically.
I completely agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it looks like there's a bunch of stuff coming in here. Did you want to do another one from your side?
I'll do one for your
All
side.
right.
That's fine.
I guess just to follow up on Peter B. So yeah, I would say just make sure you study for it. You know, that's not one of these things you could generally walk in for the AWS exams. I would either take a course or get the practice guide or use a cloud guru for sure. Give yourself 2 or 3 weeks to study for it. The range control says, "What's up, my Connecticut techie from another mother?" Hello, and hi, Alonzo. Let's see. Range control says, "I was wondering about VST audio rendering from symphonic orchestra VSTs being processed and rendered over a 10 gigabit per second infrastructure." So VSTs are plugins for audio workstations,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know much about them. But the thought, I guess it's the same kind of concept of editing video over, or using your scratch drive or whatever over 10 gig. It's probably, you need low latency on it.
Yeah, I generally would think that audio isn't that big in data size as video is,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
It's not. It's more like when you edit video. If you go to click, or when you edit audio, same thing. You go to click, and there's that little delay. It'll probably really annoy you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So let's see. Well, they're still discussing fibers on my side. Well, on my side, we currently have 69 viewers. I believe on your side, we have about 11 or so.
yes, yep,
Nice.
yep.
That's good.
And the digital life was on your stream, and now he popped over to my stream just to test it out.
Yeah, you should dual, like, set us, open us both and just mute one.
That's true. That's true. I wonder if YouTube is gonna get wise to us here. Be like, what the heck are they doing?
I'm not sure. I didn't really read the license agreement. If this is against the license agreement, I don't think I don't see why it would be. I mean, I think I've seen other tubers, although I guess they mostly choose a channel to stream on. They don't do this simul broadcast. I'm in your space, kind of. I don't know why they don't do that, but I think it's funny like this.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start a trend. So yeah,
Let's hope so.
yeah. If you
We can start
right,
the virtual presence consultancy
that's right.
company. No.
Yes,
Yeah, install OBS. That's
yes. If you would like, so Quindor is available to rent. If you want him to if you want him to float over your home anywhere in the world.
exactly. Let's see. A question came in. Did you learn yourself to design PCBs? Yes, I did. I had no clue. I started on a breadboard with Arduino stuff like everyone else. And then I moved over to the ESP8266 pretty quick when it came out because that integrated Wi-Fi, which I needed for my home control system. And after that, I was like, okay, these breadboard and DuPont cables, that's just not going to do it. So I started in Fritzing. That's a PCB designing tool, which makes it easy because you can basically lay everything out on a virtual breadboard like you have it, and then connect it on a PCB. And well, I have a whole history of how I went through that and all my design iterations and stuff like that. Currently, this is. There's green in here. That's going to be interesting. Currently, this is one of my newest designs, the Quinn LED Dig Quad. It's a 4-channel digital LED controller, so where each individual LED can be addressed. And it has lots of power throughput. You can run 30 to 50 amps through the board. It has multiple fuse protection. Well, people on my channel know what's going on. But yeah, I basically taught it myself. And, well, you can't really... Well, I guess I could kind of move the camera. Okay, this is going to kill the illusion for a little bit. If you see over there, that's one of my stacks of PCB boxes. And I have a few of those stacks with, well, if you ever look at my version and revision numbers, I burned through a lot of PCBs because I don't get it right the first time either. or the second or the third. And yeah, so a lot of prototyping, lots of prototyping. And before I actually release anything, and then even I still iterate on those and I try and improve the designs and maintain them. But yeah, all self-taught. If there's a need, there's a will to learn. That's basically my philosophy.
That's what I think people don't realize is like when you do, unless you're live, but when you're doing these videos, you're only seeing the end stage, and it makes it look like, you know, we did it right the first
Yeah.
time. But I screw up things all the time, you know, on these videos.
Oh man, there's so much I fix in editing. Like a 10-minute. So when I do a video, it depends on what kind of video it is. If I'm doing a tutorial and stuff like that, they're actually scripted, and I work on that script for like a week. And then I have a teleprompter and stuff like that. And even then, I often repeat sentences 2 to 3 times. So what ends up in a 10-minute video is often 30 minutes of source material. And I just cut it all together and try and make it seamless. I do okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't use a teleprompter, but I just keep out. There'll be times I repeat the same thing multiple and multiple and multiple times, and then editing, I'm like, oh, I thought I edited it, and then there's 3 more times I said it. So
Yeah, I spend. See, most people don't realize this, but the recording part is only like half an hour, but the preparation part is like a week, and then the editing is like 2, 3 days for me, or 2 days, and multiple versions to try and get it right, and then upload it, and then I spend a few, well, often an hour or 2 hours on the YouTube tags and description and cards and all that kind of stuff, and I have to get all the links right and affiliate stuff, and maybe post on my website. And there's a the actual recording is often the shortest part.
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, I use a tool, vidIQ, and like try to get, yeah, the tags,
Yeah,
because if you don't put the a good description in the video, then, you know, YouTube doesn't want to share it, and or put it in the search, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of extra stuff to it.
yeah, yeah. So you have a few questions or remarks on your side, I think.
Yes. Actually, it doesn't look. It's just some comments. Folks said looking
Huh.
okay. Yeah, I could tell it's definitely some drop frames there. Looks like we're a little, you know, jumpy, but
Yeah, we're a little choppy. That's
yeah.
okay.
But how about on your side?
Ah, yeah. Fabian asks for both. Do you have any long-term, 1 year, 2 year targets for your YouTube channels? Ah, um, well, I can start. My initial target for 2020 was I wanted to have 50,000 subscribers at the end of the year. That's not going to happen. Um, Mainly because I don't want to do what's necessary for that. I could easily, I think, realize more growth, but then I'd have to do things or produce videos in a way that I don't like myself. Because I'm a very technical oriented channel. I'd rather show you the actual behind the scenes or a well prepared tutorial in which I do go over all the steps and don't just go like, hey, you want to do the same as me? Install OBS, it's great, man. And then don't actually explain anything of how it works. And I hate, I've always said I'm not going to become an unboxing channel. Now I started to doing Quinbox because a lot of people like it, and I get an insane amount of packages anyway. And well, I kind of like doing it too. So, but it's very clearly not a recommendation to just blindly buy what I show you in Quinbox. I often tell them this is going to be an experiment, or I'm going to test this, or whatever. Um, but yeah, targets. I'd like to get to 50K, but I don't think it's going to happen this year. And it's hard with being a non-mainstream oriented tech channel because there's only so many tinkerers and stuff like that out there. And I have a few topics with touch with that, like the 48-inch OLED, stuff like that. But yeah, growth is fine. I grow about 700 to 1,000 subscribers a month, and that's nice. I'd like to keep that. And as long as we keep growing, I guess we're doing good. So targets, eh, maybe, but maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. How about you, Joe? What's your goal in all of this?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to yours, where it's, you very easily. I don't know if the sell out is the right term, but like, there's been videos where I'm like, I could do a video that probably would get a lot of views that was on a very general tech topic, but the core audience of the channel might not, they might not even like it. So I'm constantly making those decisions. But we hit 5,000 subscribers, I don't know, a month or two ago, and that was one that I was excited about. And then, if I could get to the 10,000 mark by the end of the year, I'd be really happy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that this channel will ever be, even like a Tom Lawrence or Craft Computing. They're in the hundreds of thousands. Who knows? But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, they definitely are carving out. If you really, same thing with you, like to get into 50,000. If you really wanted to do it, you could basically spend a good chunk of your time making sure that you have regular, probably at least two videos a week, plus a stream, plus being on social
And
media, and yeah, yeah,
very important for me. If I wanted to do that, I would have to restrict myself to a single topic.
yeah,
So, um, the channels that do better on YouTube are
yes,
niche channels. So very cut up, like this is the niche, and we're going to do a lot of things about the niche, but only that. But I like doing IP cameras, storage servers, LEDs, I don't know, all kinds of other crap I do. I like doing lots of stuff, and I would burn out if I could only talk about a single subject. I couldn't do that. I would lose my interest, and the whole reason there's a reason my channel's called Intermittent Technology. This started in my blog days, where basically I'd write 3 articles in a week, and then not write anything 4 months, and then write 2 articles again, and then not do anything for half a year. And that's why I called it intermittent technology, because it was very intermittent when it happened. I've tried to improve on that, and part of that is my changing subjects, where I have some pillars of stuff that I do, but whatever I do is what I feel like doing. And I like doing a lot of LED stuff, and I did my whole series on servers last year. And I'm probably going to do more PC related stuff at the end of the year again, because I'm upgrading some stuff and changing it around. And um, uh, yeah, it's very variable, and that keeps it interesting for me. But it's hard to bind an audience to you through that on YouTube. At least that's my opinion. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. And you have to like it. Like there's been times where I'm just dreading doing a video, and I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? I'm just not going to do it, because it's like what, it's
Yeah.
so. And you can, if it's not your full time job,
Uh,
like you can say, well, I'm not going to do it. So,
yeah, we
yeah,
both still have day jobs, and that people ask me if I want to do YouTube full time. Yes and no. I don't think YouTube could ever replace my job, and I like doing my job too. But with the boards, and I've now started selling pre-assembled and stuff like that, that has actually taken up a lot of my time. Um, I could see myself going into that direction while also doing the YouTube stuff and other stuff, and that kind of all of it together. So lots of different aspects, replacing my job in the end. We're certainly not there yet. I cannot make a living off of this at all. But yeah, I mean, who knows what the future brings? I'm not against it. It just needs to be a good balance of multiple income sources, because YouTube alone, well, it's too fragile, I think.
yeah, Exactly. I agree. It's yeah. You don't make the other piece of the YouTube thing, and then we is the sponsorships. Like I'm sure you like now. I've gotten to a point where now I'm getting reached out for things that I didn't think I would be. So free stuff, and then you'll get a company that'll say, "Hey, what's your rate to do a video on this?" And then you have to like there's some ethical questions of, well, am I gonna take money to do a review on something? Like, am I even gonna, especially like I have the day job, right? It's like I don't know that someone paying an Amazon employee to do a video on something might raise some eyebrows with my employer, so I have to think through this stuff, so anyway, it's interesting.
Yeah, I've always held off sponsorships. I've accepted a few free items where I have no restrictions whatsoever, because otherwise I won't accept them. And they're basically only items I would have bought myself. I've actually shot 2 or 3 videos that I didn't end up releasing because I didn't think the product was good enough, or my sample I got was good enough, but not bad enough to burn them down either. Then it's just wasted time. Free stuff doesn't pay the bills, so I'm okay with that. Accepting free items because, well, as I said, I can't live from those, so I can just give my honest opinion. And I've recently started doing some sponsor spots for Pcb, but only in targeted videos, I guess. So I released my Queen LED Dig Quad soldering guide yesterday. Yes. And, well, that had an ad for PCBWay in there. But the funny thing is, I've had links to PCBWay for over a year on all my websites to order my PCBs. So I don't really feel conflicted about doing that because, well, I was using them anyway. So I have no problem recommending them either. So it's very, I get offers daily of the most random Chinese crap you could ever imagine. And I, I just no. Would I want to watch this myself? No. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, it has to. It's yeah. Find the niche like you're talking about, where if it's too off base, then people are just like, "What the heck are you doing? You're just selling out for the money." So,
Yeah, well,
or the
and
free
I don't
stuff, I
actually
guess.
mind. Currently, the trend is doing like the Windows activation key ads and stuff like that. I don't actually mind those because they're often unrelated to the subject, or it's like on a PC related channel. Those are fine, but recommending a product or something I haven't really tested, for instance, I'll never do. I just had a talk about this afternoon about LED strips, for instance, and I have a lot of LED strip that I've tested myself, and I have measurement data on and stuff like that. And then I'll recommend it. But if a company approaches me, is like, "Hey, here's the $1,000. Please recommend this," and it's like, "Sure, send me one to test it, and then we can talk maybe." But yeah, it's very fragile relationship with your viewers. I think have to keep that
Yeah.
healthy.
No, absolutely. Any other interesting questions come in?
Well, they're discussing PCB suppliers like PCBWay and Dirty PCB, where I have links for on my website. And I only do PCBWay ads now, and they pay me out in money. They were like, "Hey, we can give you free PCBs." No, 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 no. But yeah, that's a try and see how it goes. And I made a funny skit of the ad. It's like that PCBWay is like, we really don't care what you put in the ad as long as you promote us, and we'll give you a little bit of money. And I was like, I can do anything? Yeah, you can do absolutely anything. Okay, well, let's give this a try. And I made the ad and I actually put it in a video before I showed them. And the response of them was great. It was really funny. So it was like, yeah, I'm just going to make this a funny spot with some decent information in it, but something I wouldn't mind watching myself either. So
That's
yeah.
that's awesome.
But any questions? Let's see. Mr. Fat asked the heating project update or the desk update. Sometimes projects kind of get stuck halfway, and on both I'm going to continue. But right now I'm um, well busy with a lot of other stuff, I guess. And yeah, we'll continue those in the future. Not sure when, but yeah.
Awesome.
You have any big projects you're working on or stuff you want to get online on your YouTube
Oh,
channel?
so many that, and the time is just disappears with the day job and everything. There's so many things I'd rather do. I've been talking about this server behind me, this Dell R720. I think it's R720. Um, that I want to play with some virtualization. I've been talking about it for months. I have to actually do it, but I'm gonna probably
Yeah,
do Unraid. I'll probably try several. And I know. Let's see. Do you use ESXi? I forget which one you use.
I used to use ESXi, but I switched to
Proxmox. That's
Proxmox.
right. Okay.
Yeah, because I like using ZFS and I want high performance storage. That's the main reason I'm not using Unraid. And I want good virtualization support and stuff like that. Nowadays, Unraid can do that too. But I really like ZFS from a storage perspective. So, yeah.
Well, you're the storage guy, so I trust your your thoughts.
Well, it depends what your NAS is for. Stan M just asked the question Synology NAS versus DIY NAS. Well, if we're talking DIY NAS, Unraid and ZFS or Proxmox serve a very different purpose. ZFS is an actual real file system with striping support and stuff like that. So I have like 8 disks in a RAID Z, and I have 8 x 10 TB in a mirror set and stuff like that. So that's really fast directly to disk. I can read at like 1,000 MB a second straight from disk. I have some caches in there too, but Unraid, on the other hand, is meant for safe bulk storage. So if it's on a disk on Unraid, it's only on a single disk. And a single disk will never be faster than like 100, maybe 150, 200 megabytes a second. So that's fine if you're just looking at a video file. But if you're doing video editing, Unraid might not be the right choice. And I know you can have all kinds of caching drives and temporary parking spaces and auto tiering and blah, blah, blah. But that's the way I see it. Unraid's good for cheap bulk storage, easy, doesn't waste a lot of space and stuff like that. And ZFS is better if you actually want performance and stuff you can do with that. Um, then original question, Synology NAS versus DIY NAS. Both are going to cost you the same, but DIY NAS can get you a lot better specifications than a Synology NAS can. But with a Synology NAS, everything is arranged for you, and you can install stuff and configure it with a few clicks of the button. But the downside is lower specification hardware, etc. And with a DIY NAS, although it costs the same, you will have to do a lot of that stuff yourself. So if you're going Proxmox, for instance, you have to install operating systems and install your services onto that. And you have to install Samba. You have to configure that in command line and things like that. If you enjoy doing that, that is a great option. If you do not enjoy doing that and just want storage that is available, a Synology NAS is a good value. That's my opinion on it. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, you have
Kind of going
definitely
through these
more
monologues.
experience on it, but yeah, I would say just to maybe to summarize basically what you said is if you're kind of a beginner to it and you want an out of the box, you don't want to spend time tinkering, then probably this analogy is better. And also, I know like Willie Howe is another guy on YouTube, and he loves the Synology stuff because it has like surveillance stations, so you get licenses for it, but you can run like your home security camera. So it's a very nice user interface, like all in one thing. But if you want to do the tinkering and you're somebody who wants to play with that, then building your own is probably a lot more fun for one. And then obviously the specifications and all
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if it breaks down, you can call Synology support or look it up in a forum. And if a DIY NAS breaks down, you just have to have more knowledge about it and what
right.
to do with it. And Yeah. So, and either is fine, but it kind of depends on what you're looking for. And if you like tinkering with the stuff, like I do, I go for the same money but higher performance, and more customizable. And although, for instance, Synology surveillance stations, like Joe mentioned, it's okay. I like running NX Witness, which would never happen on the Synology, but can easily run on my current server. So, yeah.
So I have a question for you. With this server I have behind me, it's got, I don't know, eight bays, 10 bays or something, and they're SAS bays.
Hmm.
So I ended up getting some used SAS drives, but I've heard conflicting information about if I wanted to make those all SSDs, like you can't do half SSD, half spinning disk drive. Like, what's the deal with that? Like when you're trying to run one of these virtualizations or storage.
Uh, so first off, SAS can always do SATA, but SATA cannot do SAS. So that's an important thing to remember. So if you have a SAS controller and SAS base, you can always insert SATA drives. That's no problem. Um, but why couldn't you? Well, if we're talking about a single storage array, you shouldn't
That's what
mix
I mean. Yeah.
media
Yep.
types. Yes. So if you're building an 8 bay, if you have 8 bays and you're building an 8 bay array, those should all be the same type of disk. But if you have 8 bays and you're building a bulk storage array with 4 bays and then a high performance VM storage array with 4 SSDs, that's fine. So maybe they didn't explain that right or didn't understand that correctly.
I think it was yeah, I think it was just generalized. So okay. So there's no reason why you couldn't use all SSDs. I mean, obviously it's probably be more expensive. Well, not than SAS, but use SAS, but
Sure, you could use all SSDs. If it's a SAS controller, you might be bandwidth limited at some point, probably around 2000 megabytes a second. Um, but other than that, and IOPS limited probably too, if it's hardware rate.
right.
Um, but there's nothing stopping you from using SSDs. No, that'd be fine. It just depends on what it's for. I mean, as I said, I have lots of hard disks for bulk storage, and I have lots of SSDs for VM storage and other stuff.
That's a good point. Yeah, right. You don't necessarily if it's just your archive, it doesn't need to be on fast SSD. It could
No, exactly.
can be on old cold magnetic.
Yeah, that's why I have 8 times 10 terabyte in a mirror set to give me performance and data storage, basically. Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you, so for those who don't know, at least on my channel, Quindor is part of this yearly. I'm assuming it's probably not happening this year, but this yearly camp. You know, they go into a big field and bring a whole bunch of fiber in and connect it all together, and it's like this virtual LAN party in a field with tents. And there's a whole video series on his channel that I watched. It's pretty cool, but. I just wanted to ask you about that, like just maybe a minute on how you set all that up, and then I assume it is canceled this year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a few big events this year. The biggest ones of that are the party in April. Normally that's for around 1,200 people for a weekend. That was postponed till December. And well, around that time, we'll have to see if we can do that or not, if we have to postpone it again. And we have Camp Zone, and that's indeed our 11-day outdoor event. And well, yeah, we had to cancel that. That's no way that's going to happen. Or well, it would have happened already this year. But yeah, that's postponed till next year. And yeah,
But you bring in. You were saying that you get to play with all kinds of fun toys and actually
yeah.
string fiber
So
through the woods.
yeah, oh yeah, we've done lots of crazy stuff. So for Camp Zone, we're fortunate enough to be sponsored by Juniper for the network equipment, and in such a way that we can basically write a list of stuff we'd like to have. And well, we can build anything we want because it's our event. It has to work in the end, but you know, so we're really thankful to Juniper for allowing to do that because we get to play with all the enterprise data center toys, which you normally can't because they're, well, in an enterprise data center and they have to just work. And here we can play around with it and think of a fun setup. It has to work in the end, but so last year I think we got about $1.7 million of equipment from
My
Juniper.
gosh.
And it's like, hey, they have a new 1.4 terabit switch. Let's do some 40 gigabit links and some 100 gigabit links. And it's like, okay,
That's
that's fun.
awesome. That's really
Yeah, so we're very fortunate with that. And part of the reason why that's possible is we have a few network engineers from the Netherlands who do this for their work and or hobby. So we have a team called the CCN team that we build these networks with, because I used to do this myself, I don't know, 10 years ago with other people, but then I was more in the technical part of it. And over the years, other people have entered the team that are better at this than I am. So I still do my stuff with IP cameras and streaming and all kinds of other things. But the main technical and configuration stuff, other guys nowadays do. And yeah, together we do our disciplines and build something awesome.
that's really cool. If you haven't checked out those videos, check them out from the last year or two, because it's neat.
Yeah,
And if you, I wish I
we're
was
doing
nearby. I would come to Camp Zone, but
for sure. Who knows? Maybe in some year. We're doing pretty good viewer wise. I have a 67. You're up to 15.
yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty good. I mean, it's in relation to how many subscribers we have too, so that's good.
Sure,
Um,
sure. Well, I watch your live streams often. I think 15 is pretty
yeah, it
good.
is. When I back when I had more of an agenda on my live streams, I sometimes would get close to 20 weekly, but
Oh, okay.
lately I just kind of turn the camera on and whoever shows up. So I probably should get back to more of a show environment, but
Yeah. Well, this was kind of unstructured, but yeah. So we've been going for how long have we been going
it's
for?
like an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah. Let's ask some more questions. And I don't know. I'm good for another half an hour or so. Let's see.
Yeah, maybe we'll I find that after about an hour and 15, hour and 20, the replay, people thumbs down and leave and unsubscribe. so I've been trying to keep things like and I got some feedback, like people wrote on the video like, love your channel, but when you do a 2 hour live stream, I fall asleep or like, so I've been trying to be conscious of that, but
Okay. Well, I'd like to go for another half. Let's
yeah,
give it another
sure,
half an hour, and then let's call
yeah.
it a day. So I have a question. Michael Kolpa asks, "Are you familiar enough with ZFS to give a brief overview of ZIL versus S-Log, and when they make sense for home arrays using 5400 and 7200 RPM drives?" In my experience, ZIL and S-Log is basically the same thing, except then you can move S-Log to a dedicated device instead of having it hosted on the same media as your storage is. This is kind of going a bit deep into ZFS. Check out my server videos. I think I talked about it there too. But when it makes sense for a home array, uh, basically it doesn't, because the write patterns you're going to see are never going to exceed what a decent array of disks can do. The reason I do it is because I don't mind burning through some SSDs, because that's basically what you're doing. And you actually have to watch out with it, because on one of my arrays, I have 8 times 3 terabyte, for instance, and each of those disks can do 100 megabytes a second. So that's 1,000 megabytes, or no, 150. So that's about 1,000 megabytes a second. But if I actually redirect the ZIL or S-Log to a SATA SSD, it goes down to 450. So actually losing performance while enabling a ZIL or S-Log. Now, that is if you're just ingesting large files and stuff like that. If you're running 10, 15 VMs on that same volume, now suddenly, especially because they're synchronous writes, the SSD-based ZIL and S-Log can perform a lot better. So it really depends on the access pattern and what the array is going to do. Bulk storage ZIL S-Log has no benefit whatsoever, but if there's lots of random I/O and stuff like that, it can certainly help. The same kind of with L2ARC, so that's like a read cache on SSDs. I kind of tweaked mine. Normally, it only caches hot blocks. I kind of tweaked mine to basically cache everything. So my workflow is I ingest footage from my SD card to my server, which then automatically gets written to no, to ZIL. And, well, I think I bypass S-Log for that, but it gets written to the disk. But then when I ingest it to generate video proxies and stuff like that, it basically gets read to the SSD. So I'm always editing with SSD speed, basically. But I think more than that, it's going into it a little bit too deep for this live stream.
Sounds like
anyone have any less in-depth questions?
it sounds like there's a video in your future on this.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
I had to reboot. I had to refresh my Firefox window here because I didn't see all these chats that had been coming in. So I apologize.
Oh.
Range control is getting a kick out of us. Please explain. Oh, that's what you just did. Okay. Fascinating. All right, cool. Yeah, I guess I didn't. Digital Life. Christian, you've met Christian, your fellow German. So Christian's got a channel, The Digital Life, where he's doing all kinds of great tutorial videos. So if,
he's doing a lot of Linux stuff too.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, which I could use to brush up on a lot of. So I have used it. So you could definitely check him out. Doesn't look like there's any other specific questions on mine.
Not too much on mine either. Come on, guys.
I switced it up from the Diet Coke and went to Red Bull because I didn't want to. I wanted to be really alert for Quindor.
Yeah. I'm on Coke Zero.
Oh yeah. I like the Coke Zero Cherry, but it's like it's disappeared now here.
Oh yeah, they do that sometimes. There is a Christmas variant, Coke Zero Cinnamon.
Ooh.
We really like that one, but actually yesterday we still had some bottles from Christmas last year, and we were like, oh, okay, they're a month over date. How bad could it be? It didn't taste right. So yeah,
it's funny. I don't know what the expired version of cinnamon is, but it doesn't sound good.
No, it was kind of sour, and wasn't the Coke I was looking forward to. So maybe this year again they'll introduce that flavor again.
That's funny. Oh, range control. I thought you had answered the question, but he says that it was this. He has a different question. Please explain IOM 12. What does it take for your ZFS solution to cause bottlenecks via IOM 12 cards versus IOM 6? I don't even know what that means, so I hope you do.
What's IOM? IOM 12? Are we talking SAS? Like SAS 6 and SAS 12? So 6 gigabit and 12 gigabit?
I have no idea. Oh.
Is IOM a controller version?
Difficult for you to saturate IOM 12 with your disk array.
So it looks to be a NetApp terminology. Let me Google this. Hot adding IOM 12.
Watch Quindor, Google, live.
Yeah, this is really exciting. So, I'm not sure what an IOM is. Is it like SAS 12 gigabit and SAS 6 gigabit and then controller modules?
He says yes. I think that was your question you had asked before too, right? Yeah.
Okay, so saturating SAS per disk isn't that hard anymore with SSDs, but a controller normally has 4 or 8 channels, and those can all do 6 or 12 gigabit. So my server, when I'm scrubbing all my arrays at the same time, and I have two 8-channel 6 gigabit controllers in there, it'll do 3,200 megabytes a second, so 3,200 megabytes a second internally. But my external interface is only 10 gigabit. So you're asking if it will saturate or bottleneck. Well, my bottleneck in any case is my 10 gigabit link, basically. Does that answer any of your question? I'm not sure. So the Chemster says Coke Peach is like sewer water.
Coke Peach?
I didn't know there was Coke Peach, but sewer water doesn't sound very good.
Is it orange? Is it like orange soda with Coke? No, I have never seen Coke Peach, except in. Do you guys have those Coke machines that you can put the different flavors in restaurants and stuff?
Yeah, a few of them
Yeah.
have them. Yeah.
Um.
Oh, cool.
Oh, good.
Sorry. Yeah, someone asked, uh, do you have any? So it's in your channel actually, Arjun
Yes.
L. Do you have any? And how are your LED projects going? And what inspirations you have? Well, I just released a new controller. I'm gonna plug something in, see what happens.
Famous last words. Whoa!
What's going? I have to wait for the YouTube feed.
Well, it's slightly cut off, but it looks like
That's
it's
okay.
coming out of my wall.
I have to wait for the feed. Let me change the
Ooh.
effect. Okay. Okay. So this is what I've been working on yesterday and today. It's a little. It's using my new Quinn LED Dig quad controller, which I just showed, and it's a little thing that is actually outputting something else on 4 of its channels, so you can make it do all kinds of funky effects and stuff like that. Let me turn my camera a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
brought you full
Ah, okay.
screen too, so.
Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, LEDs. I tinker with LEDs all day long.
Yeah, the green gets taken out, but you get the point. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's cool. The range control says it's probably in Atlanta where the Coca-Cola factory is. It looks like a neon trapper keeper from 1986 hovering in 3D space.
Nice. That's oddly specific, but cool.
Do you know trapper keeper something that's just a US thing, or is that did you get?
I do not know what Trapper Keeper
Okay, it's
is.
that binder that used to, like, in school you'd zip up around, like you could 3-ring binder and you could put your papers in it. And
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like those clip
yeah,
binders.
yeah. So
Yeah, we have those.
they had a name over here, trapper keeper. I don't know if maybe it was a brand name. It's like, Kleenex for tissues. So
Yeah, yeah.
um
Come on, we have like almost 80 people watching. Nobody has any questions. This is your time.
this is your time. Quindor hasn't been live since February, he said. You might not get to ask
Yeah,
Quindor any
that's true.
questions until Christmas. So, so
Who knows? That is often the time I do more live streaming stuff. But yeah. Who knows? Maybe now I have this green screen and stuff like that, and I'm working on my studio setup. Actually, I installed a new monitor. It's well, you can't see it yesterday, and I've been doing upgrades, and more upgrades are going to follow at the end of the year. So who knows? Once I'm more set up for live streaming, I'll do more of it. So
yeah, I'll be joining. Oh, and by the way, make sure to if you don't mind, like our channels, like the stream, because it definitely
for
helps
sure,
things. Yeah.
here's the channel names again, and subscribe to Joe's channel, Cajoling Technologies.
And subscribe to Quindor's channel, Intermittent Technology.
Of course,
We have a whole list of things for you to do.
we have all the
Yes,
technologies.
exactly. Let me paste your link in as well into this chat.
So there's a few questions that came in. Asked the question twice already and seemed to miss it. Oh, damn it. Sorry, Jeroen. Let's see. Where is it? I missed the first 20 minutes. What is actually the subject for the stream or just random? I replied to you in text. It's just random.
The subject is actually we are just talking about how we like black shirts, all the different facets
Yes.
of the sleeve length, stitching, collar length. No. I do wonder if we get our black shirts in the same spot, though.
I don't know. Mine is from a certain brand which I like, and then I just buy 25.
Yeah. Mine is Amazon Basics, which is probably the same as your brand, just Amazon, buys them in bulk. So
Could be. Yeah, yeah. So we had some stuff come in. Let's see. How is the heating cooling system going? I haven't spent much time on that, but I'm thinking about picking it up again at some point. So, what SFP Plus switch should I get for my lab? I have 3 servers to connect, but want some extra. I did a video on the MikroTik CRS309. It has 8 10 gigabit SFP Plus ports and 1 gigabit Ethernet port. And it's passively cooled, and I use it to run a lot of my network as the backbone spine. And it's really nice. It's cheap, and for SFP Plus, it's perfect. So CRS309 from MikroTik. I have a video about it. Just picked up some Supermicro 3U, building out a new Ryzen build. Cool. Nice, Gary. What software are you running on the Quint LED Dig Quad, or is it ESP Home or WLED with multiple output pins? Well, the Dig Quad is kind of a little bit stuck in limbo in that sense. Officially, WLED does not support multi-pin output yet. There is an unofficial workaround for that, which I just showed off, which I was testing yesterday. So you can use that, or you can use some custom Arduino sketches with fast LED that works, or you can do some combination stuff in ESP Home. But I'll post more about that in the future. Kevin Masterson says, I subscribe. I thank you. Awesome. How do you handle network shares directly out of Proxmox? Direct NFS shares or out of a VM? With Proxmox, I run NFS and Samba, so SIF sharing directly on the host, so not on a VM or container, because that became way too complex in regards to permissions and stuff like that. So yeah, I just have Samba and NFS running on the host system, and that works great for me. Which open source free NVR software do you recommend for the Dahua cameras? I don't like the NX Witness licensing model. Okay, I can understand not liking the NX Witness licensing model, but there is no open source software package I can recommend for NVRs. I've tried about 10 of them, and they all suck. That's my conclusion. If you're running two 2 megapixel cameras at 10 frames a second, sure. But as soon as I added a single 8 megapixel 4K camera in, 8 of the 10 packages, done. Frozen, never going to happen. Just couldn't handle it, let alone 10 like I'm doing in NX Witness. So I really don't know what to recommend open source NVRs. I don't know. If you find one, let me know.
I'm a Blue Iris fan.
I know you're a Blue Iris fan. I am openly not. But that's mainly because I don't see the point of having to run a separate, pretty powerful box to run my NVR while I just want to do it in a 2-core VM on a server I'm running anyway. And if you then factor in the costs of that separate box you need to run versus the licensing I pay for NX Witness and all the other features I get with it, I don't personally understand the proposition of Blue Iris. But that's me.
Well, you obviously have never churned your own butter.
What?
Or you don't. Maybe that doesn't translate. I mean, make your own butter, basically. It's
no, but
you have to. It takes days instead of just going to the store. It's like We sometimes it's nice to have a brick to just fool with, you know, extra equipment, extra technology. But no,
Well, yeah, I have 3 servers running. I have a whole Proxmox cluster. So why then would I add another box which will cost me $500 to $800 and power to run when I already have 3 servers running? It just doesn't make sense to
this
me.
is the U.S. We just spend, it's capitalism. You know, no.
Is that how it works? Uh, okay, yeah, no, I'm not sure I agree with that philosophy. Uh,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah,
Arjen asks if I'm into Quinn LED. I enjoy watching and learning about Quinn LED. I haven't. I need to start playing with that more. I don't have a soldering iron or anything to do any fun stuff with, but I suppose I could get one that's fully baked from your website. I haven't
yep.
been to your website actually. I know. I need to. I need.
Well, if you want to learn about LEDs, it's a good spot.
You should post it, or
So,
I should post it in my chat.
yeah,
What is it, Quinn? Oh,
or
you
I
could.
can.
No, you probably can't
I,
post it in my chat, huh? Because it'll.
I don't know. Is it getting stripped off? I just posted it in your chat.
Yeah, it's not there. Or,
Okay.
well,
It's HTTPS QuinnLED.info.
I can make you a mod.
Well, I'm logged in with my Quindor account and not with my Intermittent.Tech
Oh,
account,
okay.
so
Okay.
uh,
What was it again? Sorry.
uh, QuinnLED.info.
QuinnLED.info. It's nice and easy. Oh,
So
I
let
didn't put
me.
the HTTPS.
Yeah, you missed an I.
Oh, jeez. I'm really screwing it up. LED.info.
So let's see. Which Inspector T says which? Oh, I had that one already. Greetings from Arizona. And Michael Kolpa asks, is AirCookie going to incorporate the temp sensor natively? They're working on a lot of backend stuff, and I can see that happening at some point, or that you can toggle it on or something like that. Um, Hello, can Quinn LED Dig Uno pre-assembled or only PCB be bought from a warehouse in Europe? Neither. The PCBs are either made by dirty PCBs or PCBWay, and those are both in China. And the sales is either going through China using my AllNet China store or through Dr. Z's, which is another YouTuber who sells locally in the US and Canada. And the reasons for that is if I would sell locally from the EU, especially from the Netherlands, the product would immediately be at least twice as expensive. And then I'd still have to add on costs for doing the actual packaging, going to the post office, shipping, and stuff like that because of import tax, export tax, sales tax, which, well, currently that's being done in China and they have different rules for that. If I'd have to do that in the Netherlands, they wouldn't be $24.99, they'd be $50+ per board, and that's just insane. So that's why I'm not selling locally from the EU.
Hmm.
So yeah. Let's see, we have a few more questions. Just bought a Dell R210 for PF Sense. Cool, with dual SOP Plus card. What
Nice.
dual SOP Plus card do you recommend for a budget?
Well, I'm curious about this too.
Hold on.
I want to put one of those in my 720.
So if you're looking for affordable SOP Plus cards, take a look at Mellanox. Those have some good cards on eBay. Make sure you get them with SOP Plus and not the different slot type. But if you can find a Connect X2 or Connect X3, those are very good value and very good cards. So, Joe, get a
I
Mellanox
will.
Connect
Yeah,
X.
so I'm for those who don't know or haven't seen any of the videos on the channel, I have mostly Unify and Ubiquity stuff. So I'm running like Edge Router 4 and then I'm running SFP not Plus, but I link aggregated my switches together, so at least I get 2 gig between my upstairs and downstairs, but I haven't made the jump to 10 gig for really anything. But now Quindor has inspired me for the video editing portion to have a network drive that's 10 gig. I have to think about that. So maybe when I put this server up, I'll add that Mellanox 10 gig card.
Cool. So, I'm not sure how long we've been going now. Can I see that
It's like
somewhere?
about an hour and
Yes.
28.
Yeah. Okay. So let's start running off. I have one more question.
Sure.
I'll do. PC asks, using an IT mode controller for ZFS, looking at new hot swap chassis, can using a hot swap base introduce any transparency problems with CFS? If you're using an IT mode controller, you probably saw my server videos. I do so also. If you Most hot swap backplanes will not do any RAID or stuff like that, so you should be good there. You just have to look into if you want to use the SFF 80. No, 87 is external. Well, the SFF 80 something, they're in my videos. Connectors to just make a bulk connection to the backplane, and those backplanes can be either direct, like in the server chassis I have. So I plug in a 4-lane cable, which then gets distributed to 4 disks, or you can have a multiplexed backplane where you plug in a 4-lane cable, and then it, for instance, gets multiplexed to 16 disks, which then would, of course, have bandwidth implications. But either of those can work just fine with ZFS as long as they're direct disk connections and not have some kind of RAID layer or something like that. But SAS backplanes rarely have anything like that. And multiplexers can work, just make sure that it's compatible with the SAS card you're using in the IT mode, because IT mode's good. Hope that answers that question. Yeah.
This was fun.
So,
yeah, we have to do this again sometime.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an interesting room to be in. I've never been here before.
Yeah, well, hopefully the rack wasn't too uncomfortable to sit on. Yeah,
this microphone arm over here. I'm not sure about that one, but other than that, it's good. Yeah.
Here you go, Quindor. Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Oh, hello. Well, I've no clue where it is. My view is like a minute behind.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Sorry about all the noise moving it around, but yeah, thanks for doing this. This was really fun. This was great. We'll have to do it again sometime. And if anybody has questions on how we did it, feel free to put them in the comments of the video, and
sure,
we can or join. You have a Discord for your channel?
I have a Discord. We recently passed 2,300 members.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, very happy with that too. So let me paste in all the channels again. So I am Quindor. End it. I'm Quindor from Intermittent Technology. I do lots of stuff regarding storage, servers, ZFS. We've been talking about lots of LED stuff. I have built my own LED controllers and dimmers. And I do stuff with IP cameras and all kinds of related topics, mainly technology related and what I'm tinkering with. So if you like that, come hang out on my channel, Intermittent Technology. Joe?
Yep, I'm Joe, and from Cajoling Technologies, and I do a lot of home networking. I work in cloud computing, so I tie some of that stuff in and some telecom stuff. But yeah, really anything kind of like Quindor's channel, and anything that excites me or interests me. And I also dabble with some videography, photography, and streaming stuff. So yeah, just hop on over. Great to meet anybody who's coming over from Quindor's channel. We both have Discord, so if you want to talk to us, that's probably the best place to do that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks again for joining, Quindor.
Cool.
Thanks everybody for watching the stream.
Sure.
I know we had quite a few people watching today. Thanks for all of our subscribers and supporters. So I guess we'll sign over and out.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Take care. Sweet.
Nice. We're
off the air. Yeah. Here, I'll actually.
Cool.